Hello guys, it's Timmy back again with another Pickles video. Today we are doing my top 22 movies ever. We will start off with 25, 22 and go down to 1. 22. The original Fright Night, starring Chris Sarandon from Child's Play 2, Roddy McDowall and Amanda Bass. On the back it says, in a normal American teen, Charlie Brewster is a normal American teenager whose mother thinks he watches too many late night horror films. Charlie's life is pretty uneventful until he becomes convinced that his suave yet sinister neighbor Jerry Dandridge is a vampire. No one, least of all the police, will believe that Dandridge is the vicious killer responsible for a spate of bizarre murders. Charlie finds an ally in Peter Vincent, a horror film star and host of TV's Fright Night Theatre. In his quest to nail the debonair bloodsucker, but then the nightmare really begins. The reason why I put this at 22 is because I didn't really like the movie, besides the ending, where he gets thrown through the window. That was Fright Night. Right. Number 21 is Are You Scared? 6 people wake up inside an old building only to discover that they have been selected to participate in a reality TV game show called Are You Scared?, which they had applied to several months before. The concept of the game is that each contestant must face up to their worst fear, operation into the dark, losing a loved one, but this contest has a gruesome twist. Unless you can rapidly overcome your fear, you will become its victim. This is a low-budget horror. Good for the shocks and the gore, but the reason I didn't like this movie as much is because you can actually tell it's low budget, and it's just cheesy to me. Number 20 is Addams Family Values. It's love at first sight when Gomez and Morticia welcome a new addition to the Addams household, Pubert, their soft, cuddly, mustachioed baby boy. As Fester falls hard for the voluptuous nanny, Debbie Jelinski, Wednesday and Pugsley discover she's a Black Widow murderess who plans to add Fester to her collection of dead husbands. The family's future grows even bleaker when the no-good nanny marries Fester and has the kids shipped off to summer camp, but Wednesday still has a thing or two up her sleeve. I watched this movie when I was a kid once. And it was okay for the ending. Like when you see like the nanny's grave and stuff, but there's a good portrayal by Christina Ricci, Ricci, I think. It reminds me quite a bit of The Monsters. Which is a good TV show. Number 19. Crimes, narrated by Sir David Frost. witness events of the 20th century tell the dramatic, revealing, and sometimes moving stories that lie behind the headlines. There are the tales that have caught the public's attention and imagination across the world. Tales of bravery and disgrace, of destruction and innovation, of despair and hope. I liked this because I like true crimes and murders and basically true crime in general. I didn't like it because I didn't think it was on for long enough. Number 18. Danger Vision. Undoubtedly the highlight of the first series of Saturday Live, the Dangerous Brothers brand of dodgy sleaze and ultra-violent slapstick saw them pass into comedy legend. Dynamite down the pants, flying zebras, and the consumption of great quantities of vim ensured that the unpredictable duo was an immediate and massive hit with the viewing public. I liked this because I found it funny. I didn't like it because, again, I don't think it was on long enough. Number 16. Battle Royale 2 Requiem. It's been 3 years since Battle Royale survivors Nanahara and Noriko escaped from the island, and the world has descended into an age of terrorism. The Wild Seven, led by Nanahara, is an anti-state organisation that has declared war on the adults who force teenagers to kill each other under the murderous BR Act. Fearful and desperate, the government has now passed a Millennium Anti-Terrorism Act, better known as Battle Royale 2. On their way to a ski vacation, a coachload of junior high school children are abducted by the military and forced to put on uniforms with lethal explosive necklaces. They are given 72 hours to hunt down and kill Nanahara and the Wild Seven, or they face certain death at the hands of the authorities. I liked this movie because it's a sequel to Battle Royale, and I thought Battle Royale was really good. I didn't like this movie because I thought it was on too long and the war setting. "16. Starring Colin Firth and Mina Suvari, Trauma. Frightened and disorientated, Ben awakes from a coma into hospital to discover that he has been in a car crash. When he learns that his wife, Elisa, was killed in the accident, his world might have have ended. A few weeks later, Ben is out of hospital and attempting to rebuild his life. He moves home and is befriended by Charlotte, his beautiful young neighbour. But all is not what it seems, and haunted by visions of his dead wife, Ben starts to lose his grip on what is real and what is not. It's a really good thriller movie. Quite enjoyed this. I didn't find any bad points to it. It was all good. 15. The original Child's Play. The chills come thick and fast as voodoo and terror meet with an innocent-looking doll inhabited by the soul of a serial killer who isn't ready to die. From the director of Fright Night comes a clever, playful, and stylish thriller with excellent special effects and heart-pounding suspense guaranteed to scare. After 6-year-old Andy Barclay's babysitter is violently pushed out of a window to her death, nobody believes him when he says that Chucky, his new birthday doll, did it, until things start going terribly wrong, dead wrong. And when an ensuing rampage of gruesome murders lead a detective back to the same toy, he discovers that the real terror has just begun. The deranged doll has plans to transfer his evil spirit into a living human being, young Andy. Child's Play. Right, let's have a think. I enjoy this movie because, well, it's a horror film. One of my favourite genres of movies. I didn't like this movie because, well, it only with the actors on the front of the cover, it only has them in one movie each. In this one movie, so it'd have been nice to see more of them across the franchise. Number 14. The Matrix. In-movie experience as you experience the evolution of this groundbreaking film through the recollections of the cast and creative team. I liked this movie because of the ending again. I didn't like the movie because at the start it was really boring and really slow. "13. Predator 2. This electrifying action sequel unleashes the deadly, invisible predator in another jungle, the urban jungle of Los Angeles. Danny Glover stars as a lieutenant who mistakenly concludes that mangled bodies found by the police are the work of feuding gangs. Instead, he finds himself confronting a savage alien who has come from a distant world to hunt humans for sport. I liked this movie because I liked the first Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, so I tried this one out and it was actually quite enjoyable, considering the fact it's not in the jungle. I didn't like the movie because it just didn't feel the same as such as the first Predator. Mind you though, I do think this one was better than the first one. 12. Saw. Awakening from a drugged stupor, Dr. Lawrence Gordon finds himself chained to a pipe in a dingy bathroom with another man in the same situation across the room. The men are the latest victims of the Jigsaw Killer, A maniac who uses elaborate traps to test his victim's dedication to life. Given 6 hours, a hacksaw, and a bullet, Dr. Gordon tries to figure out a way to freedom, hoping his kidnapped family can survive the nightmare as well. Hot on the Jigsaw's trail is Detective David Tapp, an equally insane cop who was once the victim of Jigsaw's evil scheme. I like this movie because of all the gore and the ending. The iconic ending was amazing. Number 11. The Shining. From a script he co-adapted from the Stephen King novel, director Stanley Kubrick melds vivid performances, menacing settings, dreamlike tracking shots, and shock after shock into a milestone of the macabre. In his signature role, Jack Nicholson plays Jack Torrance, who's come to the elegant, isolated Overlook Hotel as off-season caretaker of his wife and son. Torrance has never been there before, or has he? The answer lies in a ghostly time warp of madness and murder. I like The Shining because it's just a classic, an absolute classic. This was one of the first ever horror movies I ended up watching. I didn't like the movie because of Mrs. Torrance and the way she screamed. And she could have got out that window if she'd have wiggled, I believe. Number 10. Hellraiser. When Frank Cotton solves the mystery of a Chinese puzzle box, he enters the world of the Cenobites, a world where these cruel sadists thrive on pain. Later, restored to life by the blood of his brother Larry, Frank rises to feed on the life force of others. When Larry's wife agrees to provide the sacrifices he needs, the spills, chills, and thrills are just the beginning. I liked this movie because of the lead Cenobite. I dislike the movie because, oh, mind you though, I can't say I disliked it because I actually quite enjoyed it. Nine. Oops. Child's Play 3. One of filmdom's most notorious killers is back to wreak more mayhem as Chucky continues his quest to possess the body of a human child. 8 years after seemingly destroying the killer doll, Andy Barclay turns 16 and is placed in a military school. The greedy president of Play Pals Toys Company decides to resurrect the popular Good Guys doll line, confident that all the bad publicity is forgotten. As the assembly line recreates the first doll from a mass of melted plastic, the spirit of Chucky returns to renew his quest and seek revenge on Andy. Once again, it's up to Andy to stop the unrelenting killer in this fast-paced thriller. I liked the movie because, well, it's a Chucky movie, who wouldn't? and I disliked the movie because of its military setting. Made in Britain. Trevor is a teenage skinhead. Caught smashing the windows of a Pakistani-owned shop, he is sent to an assessment centre by social worker Harry. When it is discovered that he is highly articulate and intelligent, but when he escapes, steals cars and goes berserk, can Harry still save him? I liked this movie because I liked vigilante sort of movies. I disliked the movie because I didn't think it was on for long enough. I just said that was number 8. Next up is Child's Play 2. My favourite out of the Chucky franchise. Chucky's back. The notorious killer doll with a satanic smile comes back to life in this new chapter, depicting the terrifying struggle between young Andy Barclay and the demonic doll attempting to possess his soul. Despite being roasted to a crisp in his last escapade, Chucky rises from the ashes after being reconstructed by a toy factory to dispel the negative publicity surrounding the doll. Back in one piece, Chucky tracks his prey to a foster home, where the chase begins again in this fiendishly clever sequel to the enormously popular original. I like Child's Play 2 better than the rest of the Chucky movies because it's my favourite out of the franchise. It's the first horror movie I ever watched. Being a kid. I've never disliked this movie. There's nothing bad I can say about it. I think this is number 6. Next up we have a Jackie Chan double feature DVD. My Story and My Stunts, 2 documentaries with amazing footage from his movies. My Story is about his life and his early movies with the likes of Bruce Lee. My Stunts is about his career as a whole. I didn't dislike either of these documentaries, but I think the My Stunts one went on for a bit too long. I liked the My Story Jackie Chan documentary better because I'm interested in learning about famous people and stuff like that. Number 5 is Bronson. In 1974, a misguided 19-year-old decided he wanted to make a name for himself, and so, armed with a sawn-off shotgun and a head full of dreams, he attempted to rob a post office. Swiftly apprehended and originally sentenced to 7 years in jail, Michael Peterson subsequently been behind bars for 34 years. Not 34 years anymore. It's more closer to 50 years now. And transformed into Charles Bronson, Britain's most notorious prisoner. I just liked this movie as a whole because I'm interested in criminals, gangs, famous people, that sort of stuff, murders, horror movies, martial arts movies, and stuff. Anyway, number 4, Battle Royale 1. As the dawn of the new millennium, Japan is in a state of near collapse. Unemployment is at an all-time high, and violence amongst the nation's youth is spiraling out of control. And violence with school children boycotting their lessons and physically abusing their teachers are be, be, hang on, beleaguered a near defeated government decades to introduce a radical new measure, the Battle Royale Act. Overseen by a former teacher, Kitano, and requiring that a randomly chosen school class be taken to a deserted island and forced to fight each other to the death. The act dictates that only one pupil be allowed to survive the punishment. He or she will return not as the victor but as the ultimate proof of the lengths in which the government are prepared to go to curb the tide of juvenile delinquency. This is my favourite battle royale out of the two. This movie stuck with me for quite a long time afterward. Next up, Cobain, Montage of Heck. I really like this documentary because it is about one of my favourite singers. And Kurt Cobain is one of the best singers in the world. It tells you about his life, his death, and his legacy. Number 2, The Crow, Wicked Prayer. I like all the Crow movies. I especially like the fact that David Boreanaz from Angel and Edward Furlong from I think it's Edward Scissorhands is in this. They are two really good actors. Everyone hates this movie, but personally I love it. Number 1, Ultimate Fights from the Movies. I really enjoyed this compilation. It's got fights from movies such as... Hang on. Oops. Such as the first Blade movie, Fist of Legend, Snatch, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Scarface, Legend of Drunken Master, Crossing the Line, The Players Club, Gladiator, Time Cop, Dragon, the Bruce Lee Story, They Live, Black Mask, First Blood, and The Killer. I thought all the fight scenes were really good and interesting. I dislike the compilation because I don't think it's on for long enough. Thank you for watching. Please hit the notification bell, like this video, hit the notification bell and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.